I'm David Boyle and I'm quitting alcohol. So I did the gig last night, the party gig. On the drive out there, I was like, this is going to be so fucked. But I was excited about it inside, despite the fact that I knew it was going to be a fucking train wreck. I was excited for the train wreck. I've become that person now. I'm like an S&M fucking comedian. I can only get off now if I know there's going to be some fucking pain. So I get out there and it's at this place called the Oaks in Neutral Bay. It's a fucking huge venue. It's just fucking massive. There's a restaurant down there. There's a courtyard. There's fucking sports bar. There's all sorts of shit. I'm like, where the fuck could this possibly be? And every place that I looked was just worse than the next. Like the courtyard, if I had to do it there, nightmare. Sports bar, I couldn't find where it was. So I went upstairs and that looked like more of the function area. But there was like 10, 12 different fucking function rooms. So I'm poking my head into all the different rooms. I can't fucking see anyone. None of the parties I'm poking my head into look like a fucking cougar fest. Like the description I got. So I'm like, all right, I'll message the bitch that fucking booked me. I'm like, can you come meet me at the bar? I can't find where the fucking room is. She sends me a message back. She's like, it's on the balcony. And I'm like, all right. So I went for a little fucking cruise around. Couldn't find the balcony. I found a balcony, but there was only a couple of people on it. It was a big balcony. Couldn't find it. So I'm like, come meet me. I didn't know who I was looking for. And then I see an old cougar walk down the fucking hall and I'm like, that's it. That's who I'm looking for. So I start speaking to her. She's like, there's not that many people here, but it's going to be fun. I'm like, yeah, cool. Where is it? And she leads me through this room, like this pool thing, into another room and to a balcony. And I'm fucking telling you, it was a small balcony. It was like the balcony of a hotel room. That was the fucking balcony. There was like 8 chairs out there. There was 8 people there sitting on the balcony eating like hors d'oeuvres at a table with fucking oysters and shit. I stand at the door. I'm like, oh my God, this is even worse than I could have ever hoped for. So I'm standing at the door. The cougar is like, well, here's everyone. I'm like, all right. And she's like, well, just start whenever you want. I'm like, are we just going to do it like here? Like, she's like, yeah. I'm like, maybe I'll start in 10 minutes. I'll just wrap my head around what's going on here. She's like, are you nervous? I'm like, no, I'm not nervous. I just need to like adjust. Because my expectations were bad. And this is worse. In all my fucking daydreaming, I couldn't imagine I was basically going to do a gig to a table of people eating oysters on a hotel balcony. That didn't even pop up. And I ran a few fucking simulations, don't worry. So I'm like, all right, just wait. I'll be back in like a few minutes. And I went downstairs and I just fucking laughed to myself. I'm like, this is so fucked. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Honestly, what am I doing with my life? I was like, any sane person right now would just go to the ATM, withdraw $300, hand it back to the lady and say, listen, enjoy your night, which was never a fucking option. So I'm just laughing to myself downstairs. I'm like, all right, let's fucking do it. I go back upstairs. I walk back into the room and I stand at the door of the balcony. And my contact, the one who booked me, is like standing there as well. I'm like, well, let's do it. And there was about 8 people on the balcony at this stage. And the cougar was like, where do you want to do it? I'm like, just do it here. I'll just do it at the door and I'll just perform to you guys eating oysters on a balcony. I'll perform from the door, all right? And she's like, no, we'll go into the pool room where the pool table is. I'm like, no, don't worry about the pool. Don't worry about the fucking pool room. I'll just do it to you from the balcony, all right? The pool room is worse. There's nowhere to do it in the pool room. There's a pool table in the fucking middle of the room. There's no chairs. I'm like, at least in the balcony, they're sitting down. They can turn towards me. I can be at the door. I'm like the center of attention. And then the fucking drunk bitch is like, no, we're not doing it here. We're doing it in the pool room. She gets everyone up. It's like a big kerfuffle and drags everyone into the pool room. I'm like, all right, well, we're doing it in the pool room now. So I stand at one end of the pool table. This is how it happened. This is how it fucking played out. I stand at one end of the pool table and the audience, the people who were attending the party, stand at the other end of the pool table, sort of like fucking semicircled around it. There was probably in the end like 10 people, and they weren't like a cohesive unit either. There was like a lesbian with shaved head. There was like an old Asian lady. There was like a kind of hot bird. There was like a fat guy. There was like an old couple. Like he seemed like he was from Bulgaria or something. They were like real old. There was the birthday girl who was Russian, and there was like a nerdy sort of army dude. And then there was the cougar. Oh, and then there was a redheaded chick who reminded me exactly of that fucking redheaded bitch from Sex and the City. She just stood there with her arms crossed, sneering at me the whole fucking time. So I'm at one end of the pool table. My audience are semicircled around the other end of the pool table, just standing. There's no chairs. They're just standing there, arms crossed, looking at me. How do you even start a gig? How do you even start that gig? Tell me. I would like to know in the comedy textbooks how you start that gig. And the cougar, the cougar had dragged a chair out, the only one sitting, and she was sitting like almost right next to me, like we were like a duo or something. And she's hammered. She's been drinking wines all fucking day. So I'm like, all right, before I start this, I just want you to know that this is fucking insane. This is insane. Me doing this to you people in this environment is fucking insane. And then the old lady, the lady from the fucking old couple, she's like, why? I'm like, look around. What the fuck are you? Why? Look around. I'm standing at the end of a fucking pool table in some random room in front of you fucking weirdos. Like, she couldn't work out why this was like a weird situation. Comedy barely works in fucking purpose-built comedy venues. And then I was like, so this wasn't my idea. This was her idea, all right? This was the cougar's idea. So if this goes badly, blame her. She's the one to blame, all right? Now, how the fuck do you weirdos even know each other? You are not a cohesive fucking crew here. And it turns out they barely even know each other. It was like a thrown together group of friends that I don't even know if they'd met each other. I knew most of them better than they knew each other. So I'm just like, I'm trashing them. I'm just trashing them, really. That's basically what people want now. That's what they really crave, is just for someone to call them a cunt. For someone to just stand there and yell at them. That's what people crave. And boy, did the postman deliver. I fucking launched in. The fucking cougar, she was so fucking drunk. She was just yelling random shit out the whole time. So I had to crush the cougar a few times. She didn't even know I was crushing her, but that worked. There was a lot of crowd interaction. There was a girl from Chile. I forgot about her. She was just there by herself for some reason. I don't think she knew anyone. The hot girl was not impressed. Oh, she was slightly impressed. The Asian lady, she was laughing until I called her something mean. Fucking Carrie, what? It's not Carrie. What's the fucking redhead girl from Sex and the City's name? She was like just standing there, stern-faced, arms crossed, just sneering at me the whole time. She was in fashion or something. She was like some fashionista or some bullshit. I don't give a fuck. And the birthday girl, the Russian girl, she loved it. She was into it. There was like a little bit of banter going around. I did like half an hour. I did half an hour at the fucking pool table to a hodgepodge group of fucking weirdos. It was insane. And I finished and then I just fucking like stepped to the side of the pool table. I'm like, that's it. And we all like stood there for like 30 seconds just looking at each other. I'm like, that's it. Like, I don't know. You're going to have to go get some food. I'll still linger around, but that's the end of the show, yeah? It was the weirdest ending. And then I hung around. I spoke to the Russian girl, the birthday girl. I wanted to find out about Russia and Putin. Of course I did. She was like, economically, nothing's changed in Russia. Everything's fine. She's like, Putin's pretty popular in Russia. She's like, obviously he has like his opponents, but on the whole, he's pretty popular. She was also like, yeah, the Ukraine war is fucking horrific because she has a lot of Ukrainian relatives and like a lot of Russians' families are in Ukraine and shit like that. She's like, the whole thing's a fucking mess. And then she said when she was at school in Russia, one of her classes was assembling and reassembling AK-47s. She's like, right now, if you bought me a Kalashnikov, I could pull it apart and reassemble. I'm like, sleep with one eye open with this bitch around, mate. To the army dude. The army dude was good. I actually hung around and mingled for like maybe like 30, 40 minutes afterwards. They were nice people in the end. Like, it was a horror show. It was fucking, I don't know. It kind of ended up good. Not good. You can never say that was good. People enjoyed themselves, I think. Everyone enjoyed it except me, I'm pretty sure. Like, there was quite a lot of laughing, but it was mainly because I was shitting on them. Anyway, if you would like to book me for your birthday, the price has just gone from $300 to $1,000 per birthday. That price is negotiable. Unless you're hearing this 5 years from now and the career has really taken off, then it is not, and it's now up to $25,000. Anyway, so that was that. Fucking hell gig. Another fucking hell gig. When am I not doing hell gigs? I'm about to do another hell gig next weekend at the Sober Dance Party. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, that'll fucking do for today. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around. Hit me up on social media. Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'll see you the fuck later.